A value like no other this President's Day. Right now, get a great deal on the purchase of a new 2018 Sorrento like $3,250 customer cash.
Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air. Hazmat situation unfolding at Joint Base Meier-Henderson Hall, close to the Pentagon. Several being treated. President Trump's son-in-law and senior advisor Jared Kushner stripped of his temporary top-secret security clearance at the White House. Kushner's response just in. Also tonight, the president's close aide Hope Hicks on Capitol Hill and questioned behind closed doors what we've learned from inside the room. We're tracking a possible nor'easter tonight set to hit the East Coast. At the desperate scene, the flooding across several states. New information tonight, the CDC scientist missing without a trace, what authorities have just revealed. The horror in Syria continues. Hundreds killed, families and children in government and Russian airstrikes. Tonight, that 5-hour ceasefire did not hold, preventing food and medicine from getting in, and our team with the Syrian refugees stranded. Here at home, the world's largest plane taxiing down an American runway.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Tuesday night. And we begin with that hazmat scene unfolding at this hour at a military base not far from the Pentagon. Several people falling ill, including Marines, several transported for treatment at this hour after an unknown substance was discovered in an envelope sent to Joint Base Meier-Henderson Hall. Let's get right to ABC's Chief Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz leading us off. And Martha, what have you learned tonight?
Well, David, Joint Base Meier is just across the river from Washington. It is where the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff lives, and several of the service chiefs' cars are searched. Mail is normally screened. But a Marine Corps official tells ABC News that after an envelope containing an unknown substance was opened late this afternoon at an administration building in Henderson Hall, several people started to feel ill, a burning sensation, and the building was immediately evacuated. The Arlington, Virginia Fire Department is reporting that 11 people felt sick and 3 were taken to the hospital, believed to be Marines, where they are now reported to be in stable condition, and the FBI is now involved as well, David.
All right, but in stable condition tonight. Martha, thank you. Now to Jared Kushner tonight. Late today, we learned he has been stripped of his temporary high-level security clearance at the White House. The FBI unable to clear him after more than a year. Kushner, the president's son-in-law and one of his most senior advisors. He will no longer be able to see the most closely held secrets. Yet the White House tonight says he still has their full confidence to do his work. Here's ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega tonight.
Jared Kushner on Capitol Hill tonight, refusing to answer questions after his father-in-law's own White House stripped him of his top secret security clearance, cutting off his access to highly classified information.
My name is Jared Kushner. I am senior advisor to President Donald J. Trump.
Not just senior advisor, but also presidential son-in-law with a vast portfolio, including Middle East peace.
Every day, I come to work with enthusiasm and excitement for what can be.
Kushner now restricted from viewing the nation's most closely guarded secrets, including the president's daily security briefing. He had been working on a temporary security clearance since the inauguration. His application under FBI review for nearly 15 months. Kushner updating it several times after failing to disclose multiple foreign contacts before he entered the administration. The move to strip his top secret clearance comes as Chief of Staff John Kelly cracks down on those in the West Wing working with temporary clearance. But the president has had nothing but effusive praise for his son-in-law.
Well, Jared's done an outstanding job. I think he's been treated very unfairly. He's a high-quality person. He works for nothing, just so, nobody ever reports that, but he gets zero.
Still, President Trump said he would not be the one to decide whether Kushner should retain that top secret clearance, instead punting to his chief of staff.
I will let General Kelly make that decision, and he's going to do what's right for the country, and I have no doubt he'll make the right decision.
Today, from the president, no comment.
Mr. President, on Jared's downgraded clearance, sir.
But from the White House press secretary, words of support.
He's a valued member of the team, and he will continue to do the important work that he's been doing since he started in the administration.
All right, so let's get to Cecilia Vega. She's with us live at the White House tonight. And Cecilia, Jared Kushner refusing to answer questions tonight, but his spokesman is now reinforcing that message we just heard from the White House, that Kushner is still able to do his job.
He is, but David, other sources connected to this White House tell me that this will undoubtedly impact Jared Kushner's job going forward. But we are not tonight just talking about Jared Kushner. There are potentially dozens more high-level aides working here at the White House who are working on temporary clearances that could be impacted by General Kelly's decision, including White House counsel Don McGahn and the president's own daughter, David, Ivanka Trump.
All right, Cecilia Vega, right outside the entrance to the West Wing there. Cecilia, thank you. And it's not just Jared Kushner in the spotlight tonight. So is Hope Hicks, another one of President Trump's closest aides. Hicks arriving on Capitol Hill today to be questioned in the Russia investigation. She has been at the president's side since long before his White House run. Grilled today about what she heard and saw, and ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas up on the Hill tonight.
She's a true insider, one of the president's closest advisors. White House Communications Director Hope Hicks, often seen by the president's side. And tonight, she's under increased scrutiny after getting called by the House Intelligence Committee to answer questions about allegations of Russian collusion.
Thank you, Donald Trump.
The 29-year-old Hicks was one of the first people to sign on to the presidential campaign.
Now, Hope Hicks is a tremendously talented person. She started off with us right from day one.
She's someone with access to the Oval Office. But today, lawmakers say Hicks refused to answer questions about her time in the White House and some questions about the transition. They say Hicks told the committee she was instructed not to by the White House.
They're following the orders of the White House not to answer certain questions.
She has answered every possible question on the campaign, and my understanding is the White House has asked her not to answer questions on the transition and the time in the White House.
Democrats wanted to press Hicks on that first misleading statement she helped the president write about the infamous Trump Tower meeting between Donald Trump Jr. and a group of Russians, which said the meeting was primarily to discuss, quote, the adoption of Russian children. Days later, emails to Don Jr. revealed something far different. He had agreed to meet the Russians because he was promised dirt on Hillary Clinton.
And Pierre Thomas is with us live tonight from the Hill. And Pierre, some Democrats are now calling for Hope Hicks to be subpoenaed to try to get answers to those questions she refused to answer today.
That's right, David. She's still in after more than 8 hours. Some Democrats want all those questions answered. One congressman told me today he wants to subpoena Hicks to come back and testify again. David?
But still there tonight, Pierre Thomas outside the Capitol. Next this evening to the head of the NSA, a key member of President Trump's national security team, tonight saying he has not received orders from President Trump to disrupt Russian cyber attacks targeting future U.S. elections. And this evening, some lawmakers are now outraged by this. ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl asking why hasn't Admiral Mike Rogers been told to do more?
On Capitol Hill today, a senator confronted one of America's top intelligence officials with a question she recently received from a woman in a grocery store. Can Russia be stopped from meddling in our elections?
Are we strong enough and smart enough that we can keep them from doing this again?
Yes.
The next question she asked me, are we doing that right now?
We're taking steps, but we're probably not doing enough.
Okay, so she wants to know, and I want to know why the hell not?
Admiral Mike Rogers, who runs both the National Security Agency and the Military Cyber Command, says part of the answer is that Russia simply hasn't been punished enough for interfering with the last election.
They haven't paid a price, at least, that's sufficient to get them to change their behavior.
And Rogers offered another reason. He said the Trump administration has not given him increased authority to take on the Russians in cyberspace.
No one from the administration has asked you to take any additional steps.
I haven't been granted any, additional authorities, capacity, capability, and no, that's certainly true.
Why not? We put that question to the White House.
Why not give him the authority?
Nobody is denying him the authority. We're looking at a number of different ways that we can put pressure. Let's not forget that this happened under Obama. It didn't happen under President Trump. If you want to blame somebody on past problems, then you need to look at the Obama administration.
This is not about the past. It's about protecting intrusion in the next election.
Exactly.
And he says he needs the authority, and he hasn't been given it.
Well, I can't speak to that specifically.
All right, so let's get to John Karl at the White House as well tonight. John, Admiral Mike Rogers, as you just pointed out there in the briefing room, he's made a point of highlighting that Russia has not been punished enough to convince them to stop meddling. Even he says they haven't been punished enough.
In fact, he said that the intelligence community had not anticipated what he called the sustained aggression that they have seen from the Russians on this. Aggression that continues now, even just months before the midterm elections. As you know, Congress overwhelmingly passed sanctions last summer on Russia. Those sanctions still have not been implemented fully by the administration, although the Treasury Secretary has said that they will be coming soon.
All right, John Carl with us again tonight. John, thank you. Next, 2 dangerous storm systems we're following at this hour. More rain in the flood zone from Louisiana all the way up to Michigan. And tonight, a possible nor'easter now targeting the East Coast. Homes underwater in Plainfield, Michigan. Michigan's Grand River swamping this concrete mixer, and the Ohio River, look at this, creeping up over the Great American Ballpark, of course, home of the Cincinnati Reds. It continues to get worse there, but let's get right to Rob Marciano tracking that as well as this possible nor'easter tonight. Hey, Rob.
Hey, David, the southern part of the system is already bringing rain to the flood zone. You see the red highlighted rivers. They're already over their banks, and more rain coming into Little Rock, and that's going to be crossing the mid-Mississippi River Valley tonight into tomorrow, into the Ohio Valley tomorrow afternoon, and severe storms re-emerging across the Arklatex into Thursday, rain, snow, Chicago, Detroit. And then we get into the Northeast after 4 to 5 inches of rain falls across the mid-South. We're not exactly sure where the track of this nor'easter is going to be, but we're pretty confident it's going to be a large and powerful system during the day on Friday.
Friday morning for that commute. All right, Rob, thank you. Next to the students from the high school in Parkland, Florida, who vowed to take their Never Again campaign to the Capitol in Washington. Well, they were there today, but will lawmakers propose any changes? Mary Bruce tonight with what the students and the families encountered.
Florida students on Capitol Hill are pressing lawmakers to act on guns, but tonight their calls are falling flat.
We shouldn't be banning guns for law-abiding citizens. We should be focusing on making sure that citizens who should not get guns in the first place don't get those guns.
There is a bill on the table to reinforce existing background checks backed by both parties and the NRA, but it stalled in the Senate and likely would not have stopped the Florida shooter.
If that is all Congress does, we won't have done our job to keep America's families safe.
Are you confident that you're doing enough?
This is not just one thing, but we got to get started somewhere, and the worst thing we could possibly do is leave here this week empty-handed.
As recently as Saturday, the president has called to raise the minimum age to purchase rifles.
It doesn't seem to make sense that you have to wait till you're 21 years old to get a pistol, but to get a gun like this maniac used in the school, you get that at 18. I mean, that doesn't make sense.
But there is no legislation in the works. The president also wants to ban bump stocks. Today, the attorney general said they're pushing ahead with or without Congress.
Mary Bruce with us tonight as well. And Mary, you just reported what students heard in the Capitol today. Lawmakers not very receptive there. We know they also took their message to Florida state capitol, too. Have lawmakers on the local level taken any action?
David, Florida lawmakers have already rejected an assault weapon ban, but today the state did take a first step to raising the minimum purchase age to 21 and arming some teachers. But David, Florida has just 1 week left in session to act on all of this.
Mary Bruce tracking it all for us. Mary, thank you. In Syria tonight, no relief for the people of eastern Ghouta. Despite a 5-hour humanitarian pause ordered by Russia, Syrian government warplanes supported by Russia conducting airstrikes even during that brief pause, blocking food and supplies from getting in. In the 9 days assault, at least 570 civilians reportedly killed, 142 of them children. Many of those who have been able to escape the violence in Syria now find themselves trapped. In one place, the Greek island of Lesbos, and in another humanitarian crisis there tonight. ABC senior foreign correspondent Ian Pannell with what he's discovered.
On the Greek island of Lesbos, those who came for sanctuary now trapped in limbo. So many fleeing Syria's bloody war are stranded at Moria camp, unable to travel to the European mainland and unable to go back home, where Assad is accused of using chemical weapons again.
We're from ABC News.
I first came to Moria camp almost 3 years ago. Today, it's a nearly familiar scene.
Here is the section for families.
Among those stuck here, 14-year-old Anas Hamada and 5 of his siblings. Along with their pregnant mother, they escaped Syria, but in the chaos, losing touch with their dad. Home is now a third of a dirty tent where they all live, sleep and play. And beyond the tent, overcrowding, boiling over into violence.
That was a fight just over food. It shows how tense and how difficult things are here.
Yet Anas and his family try to keep up a semblance of normality. Months after arriving here, still no word from their dad. Anas asks us for a SIM card for his phone to call his big brother in Germany, hoping for some news. But there is no word.